what is the impression that we have developed about an ideal AI solution? That it just press a button and it'll happen on its own. It'll be perfect outcome, and it'll work in a flash. These are probably the kinds of impressions that many people have about a perfect AI solution. So really, we need to make it more realistic when we have these conversations with clients. It can do some of this only in a very, very predefined, narrow context. It can't do it at a whole system level or at a much broader level. Human-machine interaction is a key element of this. How humans perceive what the machine is doing, how humans engage with the machine in order to get the best output are very important considerations in this aspect. So all of these need to be kept in mind when we are introducing an AI solution or sort of scaling the AI solution.
Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of the D4 Data Channel podcast. I'm your host Deepak, and with me we have Mr. Manish Godkhindi. Manish is the global managing partner and head of the ERM Analytics Lab. Manish is a firm advocate for driving sustainable AI and digital products. He has around 25 years of professional experience in leveraging digital technologies to solve sustainability challenges. It's a pleasure to have you here today, Manish, and thank you for accepting my invitation.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be with you. Yeah.
Great. So I have a couple of questions, and starting with this one. So how do you articulate the value of an AI solution from prototype to production before the results are available?
So an AI solution, it's important to understand that an AI solution is in today's world what's called as a narrow AI solution. So it's solving a specific problem, and the problem has to be well defined for the AI solution to really solve it. So when we articulate the value of an AI solution, customers think of it in there are 3-4 different dimensions that come up in our customer's mind. One, that it's a turbocharged automation solution. So will it really do the degree of automation that I'm expecting? Second, that people have concerns about their own jobs sometimes, whether the AI solution is going to impact their jobs. Is it going to aid them or impact them? There are concerns about data privacy, confidentiality, because a lot of data is going to be automatically processed. And there is a concern about overall embedding of trust in the solution. Can I trust this solution? So we need to be able to address all of these dimensions while articulating the value of an AI solution to customers. At the prototype stage, I think we need to give the customer an assurance that they are not the guinea pig. It has been tried and tested. The solution has already been well baked. We've invested a lot of time and money in it. We've got the right domain experts who are working on it, and the right, of course, AI engineers, data scientists who are working on it. We managed to do all of this together. And that it's an opportunity to test it on your data set. Yeah? So that's the key message that needs to come out when you're articulating the value of an AI solution at a prototype stage. It's a prototype for the customer, but for us, it's not necessarily a prototype. It has been tried and tested. But of course, it needs to be tested on the customer's data set, while keeping in mind all the concerns that I raised around privacy, confidentiality, around job losses, all of these things. It's very easy to get into a full AI technology mode while talking about AI solutions, but we need to remember that we are still talking to people. So people issues are very, very important when you're articulating an AI solution, the value of an AI solution at the prototype stage. At the production stage, all of the concerns should have been addressed in terms of data privacy, confidentiality, the accuracy of the automation, concerns about people's job, the fact that it has got the right mix of domain expertise in it. All of these should have been addressed. At the production stage, really, it's about how accurate is the output and how much is the return on investment that's coming out. That needs to be the key discussion point with customers when you're articulating the value of the AI solution. By that time, the problem definition would have been well defined when you're in a production stage. It's now about how much value is it really giving, how much money needs to go in productionizing it, and productionizing it, not just technology productionizing it, it's people adopting it. All of those aspects need to be considered when you're articulating the value at that stage.
Right, right. So, in this regard, so what are some of the most common client assumptions when positioning an AI-based solution?
Firstly, we need to remember the client is a human being and it's an organization that we are selling it to. As I said, we tend to forget human aspects when you are positioning, selling, or implementing an AI solution. It's always important to remember that. So the assumptions that we make when we are positioning an AI solution to a client or when we are working with a client are related to data. We assume that the data quality is not good enough and the data quantities also may not be good enough. Sometimes customers do have good quality and quantity of data, but it's always better to assume it's not the case. And yet you need to find a way to make the AI work for the customer. There's of course a very clear assumption that the problem statement is reasonably well defined, but many times it's not. And that requires some pre-work to be able to define the problem statement. The business challenge that requires some pre-work to define it. As I said, in today's world, AI is still a narrow AI, so a very pinpointed solution it can solve. You need to define that solution very clearly. So the assumption is that there may be some work to be done to define it. And there is another assumption that the customer has come across some such solution already. He has seen something, heard about it from somewhere. It may be a slightly adjacent AI solution, not exactly this one. And so he has certain preconceived notions about what the AI can do or cannot do, what are the risks with AI, and so on and so forth. These dimensions need to be kept in mind as pre-assumptions when you're talking to a customer about an AI solution.
So, over to the next question. When it comes to AI solutions, it's difficult to guarantee a certain level of accuracy or an efficiency at first. So, how do these discussions go with the clients?
Yeah, okay. So customers are always interested in how accurate the solution is going to be because it's going to substitute some manual way of working. And trusting a solution which is not based on people is very difficult. Nowadays, trusting solutions which are people driven are also difficult, but machine driven is even more difficult. So this discussion is really around accuracy versus criticality of the solution. How critical is this solution for their business? So if the criticality is very high, then the accuracy needs to be very, very high. If the criticality is not so high, then you can maybe compromise to some extent. But how do you explain this? How do you have these conversations with the client? You really, in the context of the business domain that we operate in the sustainability world, we can take two examples. One is safety or road safety specifically. If you have an AI solution which is predicting road safety risks and in a near real-time context when the driver is driving the vehicle, if you're predicting risks, then the accuracy has to be really, really high. It has to be really, really high. You need to define the problem carefully when you're trying to do an AI solution in the context of road safety, because you can't predict when who's going to die, but you can predict the likelihood of a certain occurrence of a certain event. Defining that clearly is very, very important, and therefore the accuracy is a function of what that problem statement is. But if you're looking at using AI to do any kind of environmental decisions, you want to identify using geospatial intelligence a certain area or a certain location where a certain event or incident may happen, the accuracy can be a little less compared to the road safety example. So really, accuracy is a function of the context and the criticality of the solution. It's very easy for customers to, or any one of us who's new to it, to apply a common paintbrush for everything. Any solution that I need needs to be 90% or above accurate. It's not possible. It will be basically too costly and too time consuming if you take that approach. So that's why how business critical it is defines how much accuracy needs to be driven into the solution. So these conversations were very difficult 2 years ago with customers, but nowadays they have become a little bit better. Customers are slowly understanding this.
So AI is now a trendsetter. So how often do you see teams adopting to AI just to keep up the pace?
So this is happening often. I would say people now, customers, managers, our important stakeholders now have certain KRAs, certain targets to leverage AI to solve problems. Again, this has changed between pre-pandemic and post-pandemic. Pre-pandemic, it was nice to have, people were interested in knowing, but now people have some kind of a target to do a prototype at least. Okay, many of our customers have some kind of a target to do a prototype using AI to drive high levels of automations and efficiencies. So it is still a trendsetter. People are doing it because it's a trend, but it's much more purposeful now, where it is in people's carriers. So they need to do something about it, but it's still at a prototype stage. I would say 80% of the clients are in this prototype and pilot stage, and about 20% of the clients have moved on into a kind of a production stage where they are trying to scale it. They're about to scale it. 20% of the customers, and those customers have already seen the possibility of the benefits, and they are now driving all kinds of changes to make it happen. And for them, it's obviously more than just trend setting.
So my next question is on the perfect pitch. So like an ideal AI solution will never exist, and how can it be tweaked and presented, and what are the do's and don'ts when it comes to the perfect pitch?
What is this goes back to the original point. What is the impression that we have developed about an ideal AI solution? That it just press a button and it'll happen on its own. It'll be a perfect outcome, and it'll work in a flash. These are probably the kinds of impressions that many people have about a perfect AI solution. So really, we need to make it more realistic when we have these conversations with clients. It can do some of this only in a very, very predefined, narrow context. It can't do it at a whole system level or at a much broader level. Human-machine interaction is a key element of this. How humans perceive what the machine is doing, how humans engage with the machine in order to get the best output are very important considerations in this aspect. So all of these need to be kept in mind when we are introducing an AI solution or sort of scaling the AI solution. So introducing an AI solution and scaling an AI solution is a huge change management exercise, which people don't realize when they are doing it. But it is impacting people's thinking, it's impacting people's work, it's impacting people's impression about the trust, about data quality, about data confidentiality, all of these things. And people have their reservations. People do not say everything. but they have their reservations, and to that extent, it manifests as, no, this is not working. I need better accuracy. I need better performance. I need lower cost. All of these things come because we haven't understood it as a human problem that we are trying to solve. We are thinking of it as a AI machine which is solving it. So we're trying to sell it as if the other person is also a machine. Sometimes this mistake happens. If we address that properly, if we keep that in mind all the time, then there is a much higher success rate of making an AI solution work in the customers. It does take time because you need to solve the problem specific to the customer, and it takes time to make it work. One of the biggest challenges in making an AI solution work is the quality of the data and the quantity of the data, the right quantity and the right quality of data. These are by default, as I said in the assumption question, these are by default not there. It's best to assume that. And so to overcome this challenge, it takes time. It takes a lot of curation, a lot of effort to overcome this challenge. But once you overcome that and you have set all the right expectations with the users and the customer, then it can work pretty well. But it takes a year, sometimes longer, for an AI solution to really start working. Yeah.
Understood. Yeah. So regarding the technical upgrade, so like the proof of concept which we normally will build, like which will take a few months to actually like making it work. So like, and it will become obsolete by the time a major technical upgrade happens. So how do we tackle these kind of scenarios?
The proof of concept has to be, that's why the proof of concept cannot be very long. It has to be really agile and really quick, so that before your problem statement changes, you're able to understand whether the solution is addressing it or not. So 3 months, sometimes maximum of 6 months for the proof of concept. But really, within 3 months, we need to be able to prove something or disprove something. And then you think of the rest of the journey as multiple proof of concepts, and come up with success or failure every 3 months. It's fine if you fail sometimes, but you learn from that and succeed the next time. So think of your 1 year project or 2 year project into blocks of 3 months. And every 3 months you need to have a concrete result, either a success or a failure. So if you take that approach, then you can change the direction of your solution as the problem statement is changing. It may happen that the problem statement changes along the way if it's a very complex or a lengthy project. And if you do it in an agile way with a sort of a 90-day window, then you can adopt it. Many times in an AI solution, the kinds of data sources that you need, the kinds of data inputs that you need can change because the problem statement is changing. So you need a different data input to come in. And these things happen, and therefore you can't be rigid about it. You need to adapt and need to be highly agile. Yeah. So again, it's changing. The whole world of AI is about multiple dimensions of change, changing people's perception, changing people's impressions about AI, the changing business context, the changing data sources. So it's all about a lot of change and agility for it to work finally. Yeah.
Right. Makes a lot of sense to me actually. So regarding the pricing component of these kind of AI solutions, so like normally how is it defined and what are the impacting factors?
An AI solution, if it is just an automation piece, if it's fundamentally doing automation, which means it's automating something which was being done manually, yeah, then the way you price it has to be a function of the savings that the client has. Yeah? So you're saving manpower effort, you're saving people efforts. How much are you saving, and what percentage of that do you apportion as a value to this product, to this solution? Pricing has to be value based that way. But uh, This is in case it's viewed only as an automation solution, which means it is saving cost. But an AI solution can do more than just save cost. It can give you a new insight. It can predict something. It can help you create new value in addition to saving manpower costs. In that case, the pricing is different. If you are creating a new value, generating a new insight, if you are uh, predicting something which is hard to predict manually, then you price it differently. Then it's a function of the risk that you have managed to reduce, the new revenue that you have managed to create or support. Then it's a function of that. So that there also it's a value driven only. But proving the latter is very difficult because when you link it to business outcomes, then the AI needs to be very, very perfectly working. The accuracy should be really what is required. The speed with which it delivers, the yeah, it needs to really solve the business problem, which takes a long time for it to get there. Even if you take 1 year, it may not solve. Sometimes 2 years, sometimes even longer for it to solve. So pricing starts with automation and cost saving and productivity savings. But as you mature the solution, put it into production and upgrade it from pure automation to predictions to optimizations, then the pricing can be different. It needs to change a function of the business output.
Right, right. So, how does the pricing of an AI solution differ from that of a traditional software solution?
An AI solution, you can directly attribute the value of an AI solution either to an automation, which means you are able to reduce manpower cost, improve speed. You can directly link it. Um, Unlike many other software solutions where you may not always be able to directly link it. That's one. Second, and if it is a prediction kind of a solution where it is predicting something, that's very specific to AI. Um, then it's improving a certain business outcome directly. Or third, it can be an optimization solution where it is doing complex calculations to give you trade-offs. Um, so in all the three cases, uh, the pricing has to be value driven. But in case of automation, it is calculated by how much time and effort is saved. In case of the prediction and optimization, it's calculated in terms of revenue, in terms of uh, the quality of the insight and operational benefits that the solution can give.
Right, right. Okay. So, so over to the other aspects. So, like regarding ERM Analytics Lab. So, as the head of ERM Analytics Lab, how do you rate the AI products developed in the lab so far, and how do you rate their market value presence in the sustainability space?
It's best to do this by referring to how our clients are telling us what, how good, bad, ugly our solution is, and how certain other external market analysts are assessing the performance of our solution. Right? Um, we in the analytics lab have chosen to solve a few problems which are which we believe are hard to solve. They focus a lot on unstructured data sets, which I think is a more pressing need to come to create value than relying only on structured data sets. So we are using unstructured and structured data sets to be able to solve a particular problem because we can't solve it just by relying on structured data sets. So we have products like ESG Fusion, Connected Safety, which focus a lot on unstructured data sets. We also have emissions.ai, which is focusing more on structured data sets. So we have all experiences. We got some of these reviewed by some analysts like Vedantics, who's come back in the report in 2022 saying ERM Analytics Lab scores higher than most of the other competitors that they have spoken to. They see our the innovative types of products that we have built to be much better. The quality of our skills and the quality of our products to be much higher than most of our competitors. Bear in mind, we are solving very specific sustainability challenges around ESG, around safety, and around emissions. So I'm comparing with others who are trying to solve sustainability challenges using AI. And our customers are now, after 2 years, beginning to move from prototype and pilot to production. Slowly, that's happening with one or two customers. And that's a testament to the fact that our solutions are beginning to appeal to the client. It has taken us 2 years to get to this position where customers are willing to consider it into production. Some of them have been testing it for 2 years. Yeah. So I believe we are in a reasonably good position. We need to do a lot more to create more value for customers, but we have firmly and clearly established that AI can solve sustainability challenges in those specific domains that we've chosen to build the products, and our customers are willing to go the next step with us. Yes.
Right, right. So, what are the top technologies on which clients are actually betting in the AI space in terms of business value?
So clients are looking forward to a lot of returns in the geospatial intelligence space. They believe geospatial intelligence can give a lot of value. We are doing some work in that space in the lab, but we need to do more. In the world of sustainability, and the environmental side of sustainability takes a lot of precedence over the social and the other aspects of sustainability. And geospatial plays a very huge role in the environmental side of things. So there is uh, a lot of geospatial intelligence technology expectation from customers. Um, and then your traditional structured data sets, all your sensors and instrumentations and all that. Text based, image based, um, it's beginning to appeal to customers now. I think we've played an important role in impressing upon customers and the industry the importance of how unstructured data sets like text, images, and going forward video are going to play a very important role, probably a much greater role than structured data sets. So to answer your question, I think customers are seeing high value in geospatial intelligence. They're seeing good value in structured data sets, and they're beginning to see good value in NLP and these kinds of technologies. NLP is definitely uh, becoming slowly mainstream. NLP is not just about text; it's also about voice, speech recognition. There are so many dimensions of NLP itself, and in the sustainability world, these are beginning to become important.
Right, right. So this is my last question, and so this is regarding the domain aspect regarding all of these AI solutions. So now it's no longer a game of pure tech because domain plays an important part when it comes to sales. So how difficult is it to express the AI product that can be easily questioned in terms of the domain in which it can be trained?
Hmm. This is a very important question, um, and we always explain this as what I call as augmenting human intelligence. AI has to support uh, business. AI has to be the slave of the human being. We need to make sure we keep that in mind. I'm using an extreme word of slave to emphasize the point that the human being has to be in control of it all the time. Um, and that control only comes by understanding the business context and keeping that front and center rather than the AI technology. Yeah. So when we have conversations with our customers about an AI based solution, AI powered solution, we always emphasize that there is a huge amount of deep domain expertise that we managed to embed into the product, into the algorithms, as well as we vet the output with the help of a domain expert before we give the output to the customer. Yeah. We do these two things. We embed deep domain expertise into the algorithms. So our domain experts and our data scientists and other technology specialists work together to come up with the algorithms, test the algorithms, improve the accuracy, performance, blah, blah, of the algorithms. And once it runs and gives an output, again, the domain expert validates it and vets it and cross checks it before it is delivered to the customer. We are also using a lot of advanced AI monitoring, MLOps, and early stage responsible AI tools to monitor how algorithms are working, how the algorithms are um, progressing or not, if there is any drift, if there is any bias. All of these things are being monitored using certain forward-looking technologies, especially in the area of responsible AI. We are doing some investments, and that is also that gives confidence to our own domain experts as to where the AI is going, and then that further reinforces our conversations with our customers. So the AI has to work with the domain expert always, and the domain expert has to be in charge. Only then this will work, both for ourselves as well as for our customers.
Yeah, thank you so much, Manish, for explaining all these important aspects regarding this particular articulation of AI in product space, and it's extremely important to kind of convince the customers regarding the importance of how to use this AI very effectively in their problem statement. And thank you for shedding light on all these important aspects. And yep, thank you so much, Manish.
Thank you so much for inviting me onto your podcast. Thank you, Deepak.